this week's episode, we'll be announcing the Valley Brink Road Barrett Prendergast giveaway. Okay, the winner is... Congratulations! Huge victory. On this episode of LawFlip, entrepreneur, social media influencer, model, and speaker Ayesha Sehra joins us.
Once you start, honestly, whenever anyone has like this limiting belief holding them back, like the fear of like even picking up their phone and talking to the story, once you start, that it goes away.
She addresses all the misconceptions about branding. Should we do it? Should we not?
Your brand is everything. It's how you show up to the world. It's what people perceive you as. So I think branding is literally the best representation of what you put out online.
She also talks about the power of mindset.
I listened to Lewis Howes, Tony Robbins. That really made me understand like the power of having a structured schedule, because there's that saying, discipline creates freedom.
And we also have your deal of the week.
We're gonna choose a winner, and that winner would either receive a 1-hour expert strategy session or a call with myself and my team.
Legal tip of the week. In practical terms, it requires your employers right now to, at a minimum, provide you with a mask.
LawFlip, objection, Your Honor. Turn the game upside down. LawFlip, objection, Your Honor. Turn the game upside down.
Welcome to LawFlip. It's an unfiltered conversation about law, life, branding, and so much more. So for those of you who entered into the LawFlip Valley Brink Road Barrett Prendergast giveaway, we're going to be announcing the winner at the time of Deal of the Week later in the show. So my name is Benjy Smith. So our guest she's an entrepreneur, social media influencer, model, and speaker. She's incredibly disciplined, works out incredibly hard. I met her at our Sunday workout, Motion LA. She's also seemingly always positive and happy. So she's the founder and CEO of Grow the Social, a branding and PR agency for major brands, celebrity personal brands, and influencers in Los Angeles, California, and around the world. I wanted to have Ayesha on because she's inspiring, and lawyers and professionals and everyone needs to know how to brand themselves and to be inspired. So welcome to our guest, Ayesha Sehra.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. I'm truly a fan of the show. I love it. Love the jingle, that branding. It's fire. I love it.
Awesome. Okay, so to the listeners, please go subscribe on YouTube. We're getting hot over here, so you got to subscribe on YouTube to catch us. And let's flip the game upside down. Okay, so Ayesha, first, we got a new phone number. It's 1-833-LawFlip. So if you have any questions, any legal questions whatsoever out there, call us. So let's get some basics out of the way. Where are you from, Ayesha?
I'm from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. All my Canadians.
And why did you leave the six, as they call it, or the what is it, the six, right, as Drake says?
Drake's our god. Honestly, good question, because everyone always says that. They're like, why would you leave Canada to move to LA? Canadians are nice. We have free healthcare. We have no COVID cases right now.
They are making good points. Good points.
Right, all the things. But I have always been from a really young age. I moved to LA at 23 by myself, didn't know anyone in LA, no family here, but I've always had that kind of drive that if someone says, oh, you can't move there or you can't do something, I'm always the person who's like, it fires me up even more. So with just moving out here, it's always just been a dream to live in LA, and especially with the work that I do, which I know we'll dive into later in the episode, branding, marketing, social media, I specifically work with influencers. The hub of all of it is in LA.
Yeah.
So I really don't even think what I do here couldn't be done at the extent in Canada and Toronto. I love Toronto and Canada, but just with LA, it's definitely the place to be for the work that I do.
Sure. And then I started a workout on Sundays with my friend Sasha. You showed up to one of the very first ones, and it's grown tremendously. It's really cool. But you've always come every single Sunday, and I notice you work extremely hard on staying fit and working out. Why is exercise so important to you?
I love this because I always say health is wealth.
Mm-hmm.
From a young age, I've always been super into health and wellness, working out, and I'm really grateful for like cultivating those habits at a young age. But I truly say, like, if you work out, like just like you as an entrepreneur, your job, like, it makes you show up better to your work. It makes you have more energy. I swear, like, it's like a sport, entrepreneurship, because we were just saying when we got on this call, we've been on all day long. And I swear, if I didn't work out and actually prioritize my health and wellness, I don't think I would be that much like I don't think I would be this productive. I don't think my energy would be where it is to tackle the days that I have. So truly believe it, health as well.
Just from watching you work out, just from like sort of talking to you, I get the impression that you are highly productive and that you are disciplined and that you just go after it. Where did that ambition come from?
Oh my gosh, my parents always say that because they're more chill. Like they like to enjoy, drink their wine. So whenever people like growing up, people would always say to my parents, like, whose kid is that? Like, is she the neighbor's kid? They used to always joke because I don't know, from a young age, I've always been this way. I think it's just the books I would read and like the podcasts I would listen to. I remember I started listening to podcasts at 16, 17 and really motivational podcasts. I listened to Lewis Howes, Tony Robbins. And I'm very grateful that like from a younger age, I started listening to those kind of outlets and those mentors. And I think that really made me understand like the power of having a structured schedule, because there's that saying, discipline creates freedom. And I feel like now I'm like maybe a little bit too much. I can probably ease off a little bit and it wouldn't hurt, but that's just like the way I am. And I've always been like this. And I think it's like a blessing and a curse. Blessing because I think it's allowed me to do a lot of the things that I've done at my age. But then obviously it's okay to kick your feet up from time to time too. And that's what I try to keep reminding myself, to not be so hard on myself with things.
Yeah, I think you have to kind of incorporate fun into something that maybe you feel like is productive, like our Sunday workouts. Like it's a fun thing that is entrepreneurial, but I have a hard time relaxing too. And so one of the main things that you do is branding. And so first of all, I want to get into the misconceptions about branding and some of the sort of challenges that people say that, oh, I don't want to brand. But what is branding to you? Like, what does that mean?
Such a loaded question. And I'm so ready for you to fire at me the disbeliefs.
You want to get to the challenges right away, but I want to just like, what is branding to you?
Your name is your brand. Your brand is everything. It's how you show up to the world. It's what people perceive you as. So I think branding is literally the best representation of what you put out online. And it's in our best interest to make it I don't think it's all about making it fake and a highlight reel, but I do think it's playing the game, like showing the highlights. But the beauty thing about branding is also showing the authentic side and the genuine side of you is the winning piece to branding yourself successfully, that has like a brand that actually captivates and converts with the audiences you could reach online.
Okay, let's get to some of the misconceptions of branding. Ayesha, branding is corny.
No, it's not. I feel like the haters, the trolls say that, people who aren't successful with it, people who maybe had a bad experience with it, but it's not corny. It's just the people you are looking at who are doing it in this space, because everyone tries to brand themselves. Some people do it right in a tasteful way, and some people do it in maybe not such a way that attracts you. But also polarizing brands are the best. So I know people hate on the Gary V's, but his brand is polarizing. So to his audience, he's God. So with branding, I know we can get into that, but having a polarizing brand is a win.
It's not it's not authentic, it's fake. Like, why do I have to brand? I can't just be me.
But you are being you, but now you're just being you to the masses, and you have to play the game of obviously showing up on social platforms. Yes, learning the algorithms to create content for those platforms, but you have to, it's almost like if everyone is on LinkedIn and that's the only way to get noticed by recruiters, let's say, you have to play that game. So why, now that branding is so relevant with social media, I see a lot of people do it. They don't want to do the work that it takes to brand. Right. So they just say these limiting beliefs and excuses.
Limiting beliefs. Absolutely. People are going to make fun of me, Ayesha. Why would I expose myself to people that are going to crush me?
Because if you don't take the risk and actually put yourself out there, then you're doing yourself a disservice for the abundance that could come your way when you move past that.
But why shouldn't I just be focusing on the haters and the bots?
No, because then you receive those messages that are so positive and you get the "you changed my life." Like with Motion LA, it's already been such a positive momentum. And if you would have like held back of that idea, imagine all of us who now met best friends in LA, who maybe we all have connected so much. It's done so much, and this is just the beginning.
Yeah, and I had some concern about starting that because like I'm not in incredible shape. Sasha is, And it's like this dude who's not in incredible shape is co-founding a exercise workout program on Sundays. And it's like, what the hell do you know about working out? And I did it anyway, and it's turned out to be a cool thing. And so I agree with you. Okay, it takes too much time to focus on branding.
That's that's wrong. It takes too much time if you're doing the wrong things. Hence why I feel like I'm in business, because I teach people what to do, especially busy people. If you only have an hour a day or not even an hour a week, what can you do? What's the best things you can do to grow your brand so strategically you're spending the best time to get the best ROI of that time back?
Yeah, I want to say something about this actually. People say I don't have enough time. I don't want to spend the money. And people say that about branding and social media and different things. But I find that people spend a lot of time wasting their time on all sorts of stuff, including consuming content. And then they waste money on all sorts of stuff. Like even in business, they'll spend tons of money on, old school marketing. And it's like, if you just really believed in referral based, word of mouth type marketing, that's one thing. But when you spend money on marketing, but you do it in a traditional, stupid way, I think it's really misguided to say like, it's too expensive or you don't spend enough time. Okay. I don't have the confidence.
If you don't have once you start, honestly, whenever anyone has like this limiting belief holding them back, like the fear of like even picking up their phone and talking to the story, once you start, that it goes away. Like the confidence comes and all those beliefs go away, because then you get the positive reinforcement. And it's almost like imperfect action is done is better than perfect. Imperfect action is perfect action. Like just showing up and starting is the best way. It's almost like a fear, right?
Yeah.
Confidence, like not having the confidence, but how do you face your fears, right? You
Yeah.
actually take action against it. And
Yeah. Okay. So I don't have anything interesting to say. I don't have a voice. I think that's a big one. I've talked to people who are some of the most interesting people in the world, and they're so scared of putting it out there because they literally think like nobody's going to be interested in them. And then they do it, and then they get a following or people get interested in them. Like, how often do you see that as being a block to people getting out there?
oh my gosh, all the time. That one, and I'm not the expert in this. There's someone else who knows more than me.
Right.
And the truth is, like, there's always going to be someone who knows more than us, but we're focusing on the people who we can help, because you're one step ahead of someone you're helping, right? So and also with relatability, sometimes people, like, there's a whole bunch of lawyers on the platform, but maybe someone's going to relate to you, Benjy, as the lawyer that they're going to turn to, because they relate to the fact that you also care about health and wellness, or the fact that you also have a family. Like, there's so many other things that's why branding is so important, because people buy into people. At the end of the day, it'll scale your business. If, like, take D Murthy, good friend of both of ours. He's crushing it with his consumer facing brands, because his personal brand over the years, he's just been so genuine with it, and he's taking it very seriously now with, like, all the content he's putting out. And he's seeing that, like, by him putting out content on his personal brand, it's driving more traffic than these influencers or these ads so it's like traditional marketing, right? He's crushing it on his own. So it's just like, the reason why is because people are obsessed with him as a personal brand. They love his family. They love his cute son. They love seeing everything he's doing. And he can now have the power to be like, swipe up, we got new, like, Men Club subscriptions, and people are so engaged.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Okay, so here's a real one. Like, I have nothing to sell. Like, why would I start branding myself if I don't have anything to sell? I work at a job. I don't have a business. I don't have a product. I think one of the things that I think about there is, but you kind of want to be an entrepreneur and start something. And so I guess it's not too soon to start, building your brand. Why is it not a block to say I don't have anything to sell right now?
Oh my gosh, I love when people are in that state, because brand starts yesterday. And I always say, if you are even planning on selling something, you should have started branding it yesterday, because the worst thing is that when you're prepping, like, to launch, take like an author who doesn't have a personal brand. They're writing their book. They're working so hard to write the book. They launch the book, and then they're like, I get this all the time from clients who reach out. They're like, now I want a brand. I'm like, you should have started a brand when you're writing the book, because now you have a product and you have no audience who cares about it. Also, second, to the person who maybe doesn't have anything to sell and doesn't know what they want to sell, highly recommend that you start a brand, because it's just how it works. When people have something to sell, they're already more salesy with their branding. And it's just such a beautiful place to be when you give without the expectation of like, buy my course, buy my book, because no one will actually care about that. So that's the best place to be. I find my most successful clients are the ones who are just building brand to build brand for the long game and not the short term of like, I have a course, so I'm going to hire someone to help me brand this product and expect conversion. It's like a better spot to be in.
Yeah. Give me a success story, a branding success story.
Okay. One of my favorites is majority of my current clients who are working corporate, but they truly want to be like a health and wellness coach or full-time.
I love this. This is amazing. There's so
like,
many, by the way, that is like, I have doctors, lawyers. There's so many people that want out of that miserable game that they're playing, and they want to do this. Give it to the people.
Yes. So one of my like beloved clients and good friends, she actually made the jump and left her job because she was so fed up. So she was in this, especially this place of like financial, like needing obviously financial return. She needs to make money, but with her online presence, she was she had like one client making $200, which is not enough in LA, clearly, like even like that's not enough. And basically within the 3 months of working together, our 4th month, she had a 15K month, and that's all profit because she's a coach. Wow. 15K. And now we're working on building up a lot of passive offers because her demand is so high and having a 30K month.
What's a passive offer? Talk to me.
So with clients, depending on their level of influence in their brand level, a lot of my clients like don't start with like that TikTok level following where it's like millions of followers. So totally fine. You can easily hit a 10K month. But that's always the goal for my clients. Like the first 3 months of working together, let's take what we have. Let's have a 10K month. And then we can start to build as your audience builds. So I always recommend we build with high ticket offers. So you only have to convert small. In sales, it takes the same amount of energy and effort to sell big or to sell small. So let's focus on closing high ticket. And then once we have that bread and butter in and the demand is built up the same time of like your branding for 3 months on the platform and you have that demand, we can create these passive offers such as, depending on the niche, obviously, but for a lot of coaches, it is like courses, it is group coaching even, maybe merch lines, brand partnerships. There's all these streams of income. So whenever I have a client, I map it out for them. I have like their personal brand, and I have like 8 streams of income because it's true.
Damn, I'm ready to sign up right now with you. Jeez. Okay. So social media, right? It's amazing. It's also extremely dark and addicting, and it would be disingenuous not to acknowledge that. I have a hard time getting off there, and what I try to do is like every time I'm about to try to like consume content, I try to create it instead. But it is addicting. So how do you personally, given that your entire business is driven off of social media, balance that sort of challenge?
Oh my gosh, I totally feel like it's a mindset, working on my mindset all the time, because I hear it from people who are like, I need a break from social media. I need to get off of it, especially with comparison. And I think this is maybe not like the fun answer, but I truly think it's like my mindset routines really keeping in a positive headspace to know that like, okay, I do a lot of affirmations. I know you know how positive I am. I'm always doing visualizations, positive affirmations and mantras, because I think that your mind is the environment. I just did a podcast with a guy who battled social anxiety and depression. He was saying that your mind can be a prison that you can't escape from. And those negative thought patterns can come up, but you are the person who controls those thoughts, right? You can write the script for your life. So I feel like me having such a positive like mental routine in the morning really helps to prime the mind. So when I go on social, because I spend a lot of hours on social, and part of my job is to know what's going on in every niche that my clients are in, I always competitors in their space. I watch YouTube bloggers and I study them. I study TikTokers who blow up overnight. I study all their business models. If I see a big influencer, I want to know who's their manager, what kind of streams of income do they have. So I spend a lot of time, but I think I just like look at it all from like an objective point of view. And I feel like because my mind is always, I make sure it's in a good spot and I don't try to get caught up in the other side of social. Mm-hmm. It's only been a positive experience for myself.
So you really are as happy as you seem. It's not just like you go home and cry every night and like just show the positive side to people.
Yeah, I'm always this way. I say,
That's
you need
amazing.
to be. I'm huge on like all the mindset
You
and
talk
law of
about
attraction.
you talk about mindset a lot, the power of mindset. What can someone who really has been complacent and miserable their whole life, let's just be honest, like a lot of miserable people all around, and we love them. And I was one of them for sure for periods of time in my life. And I can't even really identify, I say this all the time, like how I shifted my stuff. So help me, help the people out there. What can they do to stop being miserable? What can they do with their mindset to shift?
Okay, number one for me was having positive outlets. And I stay in LA now. I'm so grateful that we have things like your community, and like I go to Dee's Grand AC Run Club, and like putting myself physically in environments where there's people who are doing great things. They're positive. They're like, and I like to be around entrepreneurs because we're always working. They just get it.
Yep.
But when I was in like college growing up, and when I was like in my early 20s before I moved to LA, I didn't really have those people who were like go-getters, wanted to move to LA, wanted to build a business, wanted to wake up early. So what I did, and if you're listening and you are in that kind of boat where you live in a house where you have roommates who aren't happy, maybe you're in a relationship, I recommend your environment. So if you don't have that physical environment, then invest into different books and podcasts and communities online. Like social, yes, it can be a bad thing, but there's also amazing people. I remember when I was in Toronto, I connected with Gerard Adams is a huge like leader in the space with he mentors a lot of people. He's up there with like Ed Milet, and he does a lot of work in the space in entrepreneurship. And I remember he had a community, and when I was 18, I joined this community, and I met all these people in New York, and a lot on the East Coast, in New York, New Jersey. And they were all my friends who I would bond with entrepreneurship. And I never really saw them because it was all online, but I highly recommend you put yourself in those environments, whether it be online, virtually, in your ear with a podcast, or in person if you can.
That's
because
great.
It'll do wonders.
Yeah, surround yourself with different. I think if you surround yourself with the same people, places, and things, you're going to be doing the same type of stuff. So that's incredible advice. Okay, you also talk about living in alignment with your life's grandest visions and aspirations. That just sounds so fluffy. It sounds so fluffy and wonderful. But tell us what that really means, Ayesha.
I just say, like,
I'm kidding.
I
I'm not trying to be facetious. Like, tell us what it is.
Yeah, well, I'm really, really, truly passionate about this because that's part of the reason why I wanted to move out to LA. At a young age, I was like, I have no attachments here. I have no kids. I have no relationship. Like, I want to go live in LA. I always say, if you want to be a small fish, I'd rather be a small fish in a big pond versus a big fish in a small pond. And I was at 23, I was like, I know I didn't scratch the surface with everything I wanted to do in Toronto, but by all means, I was like, well, if I want to go make a name for myself and build a business, it's going to be in LA, where it is like, I'm playing with the big dogs. Like, I can be around people who are playing the game at a bigger level. And I think that in life, I know a lot of people personally, and who will just settle. And I have this like mentality in all areas of my life that I just never want to settle in any area. Like, why settle and play the excuse that like, oh, I'll never hit my dream fitness goal. I'll never be able to run 5 miles. I'll never be able to hit that income goal. I just think that we all can do anything. Like, that's why I started my podcast, because I want to show people that if you listen, maybe you don't see yourself in me and I'm not motivating, but maybe you'll see yourself in someone who actually is very similar to you.
Don't settle. That is amazing. I got inspired just now. That was amazing. I have to take a breath and really take that in. Okay. All right. So what's the key to your success, Ayesha? You're 24, 25 years old, and you're crushing it. What is it? What is the key?
I feel like success is like an ever-evolving journey. I know you're going to say that's so cheesy, but
it is. It is.
I feel like whenever Taylor was saying this, Taylor and Parker, when I had a conversation with them, it's
Taylor
so
and
true.
Parker of a brand called Feet. They are sort of notorious. They're interesting. They are featured on the group chat podcast, which we all listen to, and people hate them, people love them. But what were you saying about them?
I know people hate him and love him, but I think that Taylor specifically had some really good advice. And it was so true, because under, like, they were so young when they hit the Forbes under 30 list, but it's so true that when you're really in it and you're hungry, you always want to get there. And then when you get there, there's another there. I remember when I moved to LA, I had like a lot of big income goals and just different goals in my business that I wanted to hit. And whenever I hit them, I was chasing the next thing.
Yeah.
So I think that success is like truly, I always keep reminding myself, like, honor the journey. But I truly think that success is having fulfillment every day in what you're doing. As long as you're happy and loving the journey, then that's success, because I don't think success is a destination.
I completely agree. I am so much happier every single day than I've ever been, because I've figured out a way to work every day in a way that I enjoy. And like, to me, that's become the most important thing in my career. And so I could not agree more. So I want you to give advice to those struggling in their careers or their personal lives, because you're such a motivational character. I know you got some just words of wisdom for those people that like can't figure it out. They either can't figure it out, or they don't even, this is the first time they've listened to somebody who really is inspiring in a way. They finally got away from the same people, places, and things that they've always surrounded themselves. And this is the podcast that they listen to for the first time to get inspired. What do you got?
I love that. I feel like we're so cheesy today.
I don't care.
But I would say that really, like, sit with yourself and like kind of get away from all the bullshit and the noise, because I think that one of the things that a lot of us do, and it's not our fault, it's just what we're constantly like put in our faces. And even if on social you're not yet looking at the right pages and you're seeing all that negativity, because there's a lot of good and then there's a lot of like not so good, think about, like, just with yourself, what truly makes you happy and fulfilled, and do those things. And whether that is things that you can't necessarily do, like, I understand real life, like, you have to pay the bills and you have to go to your job. I totally get it. But also, when you're not working your 9 to 5, work on those things that are thriving you up, because that's when the juices can flow. Maybe you meet someone, right place, right time, and they have a business venture and it's a perfect opportunity. I'm so much about like living in alignment and doing the things that are also fulfilling your soul, because when you are living in your alignment, your true path, those opportunities come, but also they only come if you're actually putting in the work too. So don't just say, woe is me, and don't like make something out of the excuses, and put action into where your heart is, because that job that you hate is not your forever if you don't want it to be. But it's like all up to you to change that narrative.
Facts. Okay. So moving on to deal of the week. Here we go. So last week we did a giveaway for Garret Prendergast brand Valley Brink Road. Okay. The winner is
Instagram user at shimmerblue, SHIMMRBLU.
Congratulations. Huge victory on the Valley Brink Road contest. Amazing. Okay, so Ayesha, do you have for us a deal of the week?
Yes. Okay. Love it. And super excited to deliver this one. So I want you guys to let us know what your goal is for your brand or your mission, your vision, something that is what you want your platform to strive to help with others. Because we're all about helping others with the things that Benjy and I are doing. So we want to hear what your brand goal is, and then we're going to choose a winner. And that winner, because a lot of the work I do within my agency, it's truly customized. It's not one size fits all. So we're going to pick the answer that we think is so fulfilling and is going to help the world. And with that, you'll either receive a 1-hour expert strategy session or a call with myself and my team to help you kind of plant the seeds for what that brand could look like, and a plan to scale that idea and that brand so we can bring it to life.
And I'm going to double that down. I'm going to give an hour of my time to anybody, to the extent that anybody thinks that's valuable. I will give an hour of my time. So I will double that up. And in order to apply for this contest, you need to follow Ayesha's Instagram page, you need to follow LawFlip, and you need to comment on the Deal of the Week post on LawFlip and state, what are they supposed to state, Ayesha?
State your brand, your goal for your brand or a business. It could be anything that you're looking to create in the world.
Love it. Now we're on to our legal tip of the week. we're on to legal tip of the week. Okay, so this is sponsored by Smith & Benowitz. It's an employment, personal injury, and class action law firm. So all employees, California law requires that employers provide a safe and secure environment, a workplace that is suitable for your needs. So this includes safety devices and safeguards. That means, in practical terms, it requires your employers right now to, at a minimum, provide you with a mask. If they're not doing this or they're putting your health at risk, call us, 1-833-LawFlip. Okay. What did we learn today? We learned that a Canadian could come to the States, all of the process that's involved, visas, being a young entrepreneur, a small fish in a big pond, working her butt off to create an agency, and she basically broke all the sales objections to branding. She told us how we should have our mindset. She basically told us how to live a perfect life. And so, no, I'm kidding, but kind of. Okay, so I was super inspired, Ayesha. I really appreciate you taking the time. I think everybody's going to be inspired that listens to this. If you can, tell us where we could find you online.
Yes, thank you so much. So I'm all over social now. So Instagram is my main spot at Ayesha Sehra. I'm on YouTube as well. And I have a podcast called Coffee and a Good Vibe.
Great
podcast. So loving it there. If you guys want to go ahead, subscribe to that podcast, it'd be amazing. And yeah, I have my website, growthesocial.com, where you can kind of see what I'm up to in the branding PR agency and all the things that my agency and my team and I do. So
incredible. Thank you so much, Ayesha. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you next week, LawFlip.
LawFlip, objection, Your Honor. Turn the game upside down. LawFlip, objection, Your Honor. Turn the game upside down.
Okay, so Arian, they're asking where they could find us. So for LawFlip, it's at LawFlip and LawFlip.com. For Smith & Benowitz, our law firm, which does personal injury, employment, and class actions, you can find us at Smith Benowitz and SmithBenowitz.com. For the personal stuff, like where you're really going to find the juicy stuff, at Benjy Smith and BenjySmith.com. At Wages Guru and LewisBenowitz.com for Lewis. Oh, so LawFlip is produced, directed, and edited by the young legend Arian Tabibian. Visual effects and compositions by another young legend, Oren Azad. Intro music provided by Pen Practice. Pen Practice, what is it? Premium instrumentals for upcoming artists by the music industry's top producers. For more info, visit penpracticemusic.com. I had so much fun recording the intro song with my man Hilton Deuce Wright. Looking forward to hearing more and more from Pen Practice. So the LawFlip identity, this hot logo that you're looking at, created by Garret, Whisten, and Travis Nagle. Special thank you to Shai and Seth from the Horwitz Marketing Agency. And lastly, a huge thank you to our beautiful wives, Julie and Lisa, for supporting our vision, and all the love to all of our 4 boys combined. Disclaimer, this podcast is made available by Smith & Benowitz for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is only intended to provide general information and opinions about legal and other concepts, and is not intended to be used as a source of legal advice or relied on for legal advice. By listening to this podcast, you understand that no attorney-client relationship is being formed between you and Smith & Benowitz or any of its attorneys. This podcast should not be used as a substitute for competent legal advice from a licensed professional attorney in your state.